My name is Andrew Schoenfeld, and I'm a clinician scientist and professor of orthopedic surgery in the Department of Orthopedic Surgery at Mass General Brigham and Harvard Medical School in Boston, Massachusetts. My health services research training was at the University of Michigan, and my clinical training in the field of spine was at the Harvard Combined Program, Harvard Medical School, Brigham Women's Hospital, and Massachusetts General Hospital. I have been working in Boston for the last 10 years and have a faculty appointment through Harvard Medical School. I have had funding through the NIH, Department of Defense, CMS, and the Orthopedic Research and Education Foundation in support of my research program. Currently, I'm doing research myself in areas of improving spine surgery and reducing sustained prescription opioid use. I have also worked in the field of academic medicine and involved with journals on the editorial side for more than a decade. I've worked at a variety of different journals, and I've been with the Spine family of journals in some capacity since 2019. I've also written a textbook on an insider's guide to academic publishing in orthopedics and spine surgery, which is a primer of sorts in terms of highlighting strategies and best practices to situate research work in the best possible light for publication in scientific journals. The main impetus behind launching Spine Open was to provide a new space in the landscape of orthopedic research and orthopedic neurosurgical spine journals for authors to expeditiously and efficiently publish their research in a way that it could get to the end user without obstacles and in a fairly expeditious fashion. So Spine Open is obviously the sibling journal to Spine, which is a legacy journal in the spine space that has been published since 1976. We have really refined our approaches in terms of a methodologically rigorous review that is also fairly expeditious on the spine side. However, given journal restrictions, there's always a limited number of articles that you can publish, and we receive many more submissions than we can reasonably be expected to publish with any year. As a result, we have wanted to open a new exploratory landscape for articles that are hypothesis generating, for articles that are more experimental in their approach, that may present new surgical techniques with relatively small samples, and that otherwise wouldn't have the methodologic rigor to be able to publish in spine, but we want to afford them the landscape where they could publish their work, leveraging the methodologic expertise and the efficiency of the review process that has been developed out of spine. And that's really what led us to develop Spine Open, which publishes articles in all of the same categories as spine with the addition of case reports. And this will allow authors who have clinically insightful, cutting-edge techniques, small case series, hypothesis generating work, in addition to larger, more methodologically robust papers that are also welcome as well at Spine. But this would allow the full holistic 360 family of articles to be published in the Spine Open space, again, leveraging the methodologic expertise and efficiency of the review process that we've really refined and honed at Spine, and applying it to a new landscape that will allow work to get into the hands of the end user for clinically relevant and practice-changing ideas to get into the hands of the individuals who are going to apply those to patient care and clinical practice. Spine is the sibling journal with a legacy track record of publication since 1976. At Spine, we have worked very hard over the last 5 to 6 years to really refine our rigor and efficiency of our methodology and review processes. We're now applying those to Spine Open. There are really no differences in terms of the care and diligence of the review process. There are no difference in terms of the types of categories that publish at Spine versus Spine Open. So there's really a seamless one-to-one corollary between the two journals. Where I see that there is a difference is that at Spine Open, there's more space for thought-changing paradigms, experimental ideas, cutting-edge techniques, smaller case series and case reports that describe unique and different ideas that may be practice-changing in the future, but just don't have the evidence base and the potential for methodologic rigor to support publishing Spine at the moment. So I see Spine Open as providing more room for experimental thought and more leading-edge ideas than are really available to authors at Spine. So in general, the ideal manuscript is going to have one motivating question, one methodologic approach, and one ultimate answer. And if it is more of a rote clinical retrospective in terms of author's experience with, say, 20 surgical cases, then it should still be that there's a motivating question about what is novel or practice changing about that work and how they feel it can be applied to patient care or what the next steps are in investigating it further. And then aligned with that, any paper that's submitted should really adequately achieve the areas of being methodologically sound. So again, that does not mean that you have to have a very robust or advanced methodologic approach, but it should be sound for the context in which the article is presented. It should be novel in some way, and then it should be interesting or impactful to the readership. If you can check all of those boxes and you're an author, I think you're going to have a very high likelihood of success in terms of publishing your work. One of the most common mistakes, in my opinion, is that the authors don't understand or don't have a good conception, or at least don't convey it in what is written up, what their goal is for the paper. So it should be clearly evident to the reader and those who are reviewing the work what the intent of the paper was. So again, that falls back on there should be a singular question with a singular approach to answer the question and a single final message from the paper that results from the research that was done. Another is the authors will use statistical techniques or methodology that is not appropriate or is not supported by their substrate data. Ready examples of this are using advanced techniques such as causal inference or propensity score matching when they don't have enough sample or variation within their sample to support that. Another would be using logistic regression techniques when, again, their event rate is fairly small or their sample overall is not robust enough. Any type of methodological approach will yield results. It doesn't mean that the results are actionable. And one of the major missteps is when authors engage in those types of practices and then they present a paper and make claims and develop a narrative that has aspects of erroneous attribution. They're being informed by a model that actually has a lot of flaws in it. Spine Open is really taking the methodologic rigor, the efficiencies that we've developed in our review techniques at Spine, which is practice leading in terms of time to first decision for a journal of its impact and type, and applying this to the Spine Open space so that we can efficiently, expediently, and very factually get articles into press and into print in the hands of readers and those who are going to be able to use your research to change clinical practice and patient care. And I think that that is a very compelling rationale as to why authors should look to publish in Spine Open. We're going to apply the methodologic rigor and our best practices from a select group of our most elite reviewers who are serving as the reviewer pool for Spine Open. And then we're going to move very quickly to get your work, once accepted, into print and immediately available without any subscription, firewall, etc., into the hands of the end user, so it can influence patient care and inform clinical practice.